Okay, so we are halfway through 2023 and Samsung, Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo, everyone has launched their flagship for 2023. And after all of this launch, I feel there's one tiny, literally tiny phone that is going unnoticed, the Samsung Galaxy S23. But the question that has to be asked is, why is this phone so underrated and why do I think this is a really good phone? Well, there are reasons, we'll get to them in just a moment. Now Samsung has launched the lime color variant of S23 and same, in the box you get the phone, Type-C to Type-C charging cable. I really like doing this. And it's the lime color. And I don't think it's a ripe lemon lime color. It's more of this raw lemon color, a mix of green and yellow. Like for the lime color explanation. Now the reason why this phone is going underrated because we Indians generally like big phones. And the S22 last year, thanks to Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, had heating issues. But this year, because of the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, made specially for Samsung, problems are solved. And this makes it the most ideal compact flagship. The number one reason is camera. Most flagships in this price range either don't include a telephoto camera or even if you get a telephoto camera, it is 2x. Now here, the S23 comes with a 50 megapixel main camera and 10 megapixel 3x telephoto camera. And let me show you the difference. We have our own Manu sir. Like the difference between 1x and 3x portrait photos are way different. Like as you can see, way different. Also, the best thing I found with the Samsung S23 series this year is the 4K portrait video. Like we have switched our shots to the portrait video mode. And it's very hard to tell the difference whether it is shot on a camera or a smartphone. The only thing is, see here, once you take a portrait photo, you go to gallery and now you have the option to change the amount of blur. But once you take a portrait video, there is no option to change the blur level later in the phone. But overall, the main camera, photos, selfies all come out really good. This year, you also get an upgraded 12 megapixel selfie camera with autofocus. So there's that natural background blur in the selfies. And it is one of the best smartphone cameras in this price range. Another really good reason is this year you get Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 on Samsung S23 and that's not it. Last year, you had the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 on S22 as the bigger S22 Ultra. But the major difference was throttling. In S22, the same chip scored about 2 lakh less on Antutu. And not just benchmarks, even during gaming, S22 wasn't the best gaming device. But this year, see here, this is S23 Ultra and this is S23. Both of them score almost the same on Antutu. And the main reason is this year you get a 2.7x larger vapor chamber in the S23 and this not only helps in gaming and heat, it also gives you better battery life. And I've played PUBG New State every day for like 30 minutes to 1 hour and the gameplay has been good. And I've always played at 90 FPS because why not? Flagship. There's like 9 people killed and 5 of them I've killed. Also, we should talk about battery. The S23 has a 3900 mAh battery which is 200 mAh bigger than last year. And even after the increase in battery, the device is still compact and it weighs the same like 169 grams, lightweight. Although one thing to notice is if you get the base variant 128GB, that is UFS 3.1, the 256GB variant is UFS 4.0. And honestly, we have been using the S23 base variant for quite some time now. In real life, I don't feel the difference in storage. And number 3, which separates this Samsung flagship from any phone is software and ecosystem features. It comes with Android 13 right out of the box and Samsung promises 4 years of Android updates and 5 years of security update, which means the phone will get updates up to Android 17. And here's one thing that I noticed. This year, One UI has gotten a lot smoother and the UI has become more fluid. And I was reading about it, like this display can go from 1 Hz to 120 Hz, but if you look here, the display doesn't fall below 24 Hz. See, it's 24 when idle. Now One UI has been tuned this way, so that jerkiness or jitter you see when the display shifts from 1 Hz to 120 Hz, that is gone. And I've been using One UI for the past 90 days now. I rarely found any glitch or app crashes. And in terms of ecosystem features, I think Samsung is the best that you can get on the Android side. By the way, a really good video on Android versus iOS ecosystem is coming up, so stay tuned and subscribe for that. But one crazy thing that I saw today is like we got this huge Samsung TV and see this, the TV is on screensaver mode and I just take my S23 and I tap it here and boom, I can share my screen wirelessly over here. And there's also a multi-view mode and now I can watch TV as well as share my screen at the same time. So the thing is, if I move away from the TV with the phone, the TV turns itself off. It knows that I'm out. Hold on. Any moment now. I have to actually cross the Bluetooth range
Okay, now I'm outside, so he should probably have the TV turned off right now.
And a lot of people in the comments talk about like Samsung ecosystem is fine, but isn't Android about being more open source than Apple? Well, here's the difference. Samsung phones still play cool with Windows via Microsoft Your Phone, and Samsung still uses Google Apps. So if you don't want to use Samsung apps, you still have the choice to use Google Apps. So there's the difference in that. You still have the choice along with the ecosystem features. Now, the major reason to talk about the S23 right now is because the S23 has launched for 74,990, but as of now, currently, you're getting a 5k bank cashback on HDFC cards and Bajaj Finserv, which brings down the price to 69,990. Plus, if you exchange your existing smartphone, you get about 8,000 exchange bonus, which further brings down the price to 61,990. And if you can grab at the price, I would say you should consider the S23. Also, there is a 24-month no-cost EMI on certain cards. I'll post the screenshot over here. You can pause and read. So basically, you can own it at 3,125 per month. And overall this year, the entire S23 series looks like minor upgrades in the first look. But when you actually start using the phone day to day, you'll feel the massive changes it has done because of the software, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, battery life, etc. On that note, this is Pradeep signing off. See you pretty soon. Pew pew. Pew.